Stellaris and Civilization 6 are two turn-based strategy video games which also are in the 4X subgenre of strategy games. 4X, which stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit and Exterminate. And the strategy genre of video games, even real-time and turn-based, has been a genre that I haven't played that much in my video gaming lifetime, which, if I remember well, started in '98. And I have played some real-time strategy games such as StarCraft, Red Alert 2, and Kohan Ahriman's Gift. But I never really got into this genre of video games, especially turn-based, because I am the kind of video gamer, I'm the kind of gamer that likes to practice his reflexes, and strategy is more something that is slow and you have to adapt. Let me first talk about my experience with Stellaris. Well, so this was something very new for me to play a turn-based strategy game, and I started with Stellaris playing with two other friends of mine, and I wanted to profit from the fact that Stellaris was free for a whole week. So I think I never got really invested into it because I knew that the game would disappear from my library after a week, and I'll have to make the decision to buy it if I really like it. And I didn't buy it. It's not because I didn't like it, I didn't had the time to invest in Stellaris, because when I played with these two friends of mine, I was a complete noob, and I was like, how I do this, what happens if I do this, what should I choose this research next. And if I remember well, I chose the research that took me like 14 turns or even more. It was for live metal or something like that. And then we realized that it was completely useless, but I wanted to start being dependent, to be independent, to stop depending on my friends to explain me everything that I was doing in this game. And that's why I started trying to make my own decisions. And it's a very interesting, Stellaris is a very interesting game. I liked it I respect it for its intellectual side. It's one of those video games that you have to, you can't pick up and play. You have to have patience and learn it and study it and bring a book to read from it. But no, I liked the experience, although it was very tiresome for me. It's not like when I play shooters, like I'm playing at the same time, I was playing at the same time Crysis 2, which will be a review on this channel. And Crysis is like you pick it up and you get better and better as you played it, but in Stellaris it was like, oh, this is what I did wrong, and I never had experience with this kind of genre beforehand, and maybe that was part of the harder learning curve because I didn't have that much experience with this kind of genre. And yeah, I'm one of these days I think I'm gonna give it a try again. I don't know if I saw that it's interesting. I really liked it. Especially I liked the art style of the video game, and it's interesting to me that it's so detailed, the game, but mostly you play it from a zoomed out point of view, so that whole detail that they invested in, you can't even notice it because you're mostly playing it on that huge world map. and I liked a lot of aspects of it. I don't know if I should give it a score for I've played it, I think, like 13 or 15 hours. If I were to give it a score, I think it's a 7.5. But yeah, this is coming from RTS, mostly RTS player, which I haven't played, I think, on RTS since 2011, or I think and I never played turn-based strategy games. I have never had the patience to play those. Yeah, it's a 7.5 from my experience. I think probably it's a 10 for other people. Now for Civilization 6, this game I got it when it was offered for free by Epic Games, and I really enjoyed it. At first I did the same mistake which I did with Stellaris, that I played it with a friend of mine, and again I was like, what should I do? What am I gonna do next? What am I gonna do with these things and that things? And then I took the decision to play it alone. I think I played it alone for like 13 hours, and I really enjoyed it. I think I started playing it 2 days in a row from 8 p.m. to I think 1 a.m. So 5 hours each day, and I was completely immersed in it. And I can see some similarities with Stellaris, the grid-based map, and that you build those explorers, those scouts, those construction ships. So there are a lot of similarities. I was so surprised to see that Stellaris wasn't also something that hold the Sid Meier name, and it wasn't developed by. So Stellaris is developed by Paradox, and Civilization is developed by Fire Access Game. I was so completely surprised by that. Apparently, these two games both came out back in 2016. That was very surprising, and there are so many similarities. Like you have the other factions where you could collaborate with them and declare war on them and be friends or allies with them. Those are so many. Maybe these are standards that apply to a lot of turn-based strategy games that are also. Wait, let me see. I think there are Grand Strategy. I think also this type of video game is called. Still, yes, I think Civilization, I had a much better time with it, especially I think because the game was already mine. I didn't had to make the decision if I wanted to buy it or not. And in some points of view, I could call one of the reasons I never wanted to play these turn-based video games, it's that because in real-time strategies, for example, you invest, let's say, like 5 hours in a match, 6 hours, and then you can lose it all suddenly, or even 10 hours. And in this kind of video game like Civilization, you're just like, I'm developing my cities. I observe how they are developing, and the other guys are doing their own stuff. I played in single player in Civilization 6. I played as Theodore Roosevelt, the American civilization, and I really liked it. I really liked this kind of game that lets you take your own time, and if you don't want to be a warmonger, you can cooperate with the other civilizations. And I liked that, for example, Gilgamesh, one of the leaders from another civilization, was like, "Oh, your army is so puny." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So he's technically giving me advice to develop more my army. So I started developing more my army, And there were a lot of elements that I didn't get at first. Like, for example, a lot of civilizations asked to come over my borders and wanted to collaborate with me and trade goods with me. And at first I didn't observe that they asked me to open my borders to them, and they didn't open their borders for me in the trade requirements. And when they started developing their own cities on my map, I was like, okay, then I should also develop my cities on their maps. And when they saw that I was building my cities, they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, what you developed your cities, why can't I also develop my city? That was so surprising to me. And I liked the spy thing, that at one point, the more you evolve your civilization, you can have your own spy and send it to other capitals. I sent it to Rio de Janeiro, and at one point the game announced me that be careful, a spy just escaped from your capital, from Washington. And then another spy stole $600 from 600 gold from your city, and I sent back my spy to see what's happening. And then I got that spy, and apparently it was from the Arabian civilization. I was like, what the hell? I was so friendly with the Arabians, and now he's doing this to me? He's stealing money? And after I found his spy, he was offering another collaboration which had money trading in it. And I was like, oh, so that's why you stole money from me, so you can have other money to collaborate with me. And I was kind of pissed that I couldn't ask him, what are you doing with your spies in my capital? I want some of those. This is one of my criticisms towards civilization. I want more dialogue boxes that are according to the events of the video game. Like, for example, I wanted to say to the other civilizations, wait, so you were able to build cities on my part of the land, but I can't build on your part of the land? What's up, man? And then tell him, why did you send your spy to my country? I would have liked to have those dialogue options. Maybe I haven't played it enough to see that. And I liked that the fact, although I am friendly with all the other civilizations, with the other rulers, you can still weigh a religious war, which I realized when... So I realized that I was Confucianism, and the religion of Catholicism started to appear. And the Arabian civilizations tried to convert my civilization to Islam, and I was like, oh, so they are killing my religious units, and I can kill their religious units, and no one is complaining about this. So this is interesting. So you can still weigh a religious war without any consequences. Yeah, I really liked it. So one of the things that I observed for turn-based strategy game is that the evolution is not horizontal. You don't keep moving in this kind of video game. Like, I'll give example Crysis 2 again, because this is what I'm playing right now. In Crysis 2, you keep going forward and getting different maps and different parts to explore, and keep moving forward towards the destination. In this video game, your destination is just to evolve. So your direction of evolution is not a horizontal one, it's a vertical one. You're just evolving your own country. You're putting more and more on the top of your own territory, and this I liked a lot. Especially I think from some points of view, I would say that turn-based strategy video games are the perfect medium, the perfect kind of video games to listen to podcasts while you're playing them, because some video games like the single player shooters are like they start putting their dialogue when you're playing them, and I have to mute the podcast. But in this one, I'm like, I'm just evolving, and I'm just doing my own stuff while I'm listening to the podcast. So it's especially I want to say that Civilization 6 looked to me like more of a chill video game. You just have to click and wait for your units, and I started liking to do the queuing of other stuff to be built. There was one funny part when the Brazilian Empire and the Arabian Empire started building cities near my piece of land, and at one point the Brazilians started moving a lot of their units on my territory, and then the Arabians started moving their units on my territory. I was like, okay, what is happening? I think war is gonna start. And I was right, the Brazilians started a war against the Arabians, and I was like, okay, let me prepare my units. If they start attacking me, I'll be prepared. This is another aspect that I like. You have to think strategic. You don't put your units at one end of the map and then you have to be quick to bring your units to the other part of the map where you are being attacked, because that won't happen. You're gonna be obliterated if you don't put your units in a strategic way. And that's also a thing I like, that the war between Arabians and the Brazil factions wasn't permanent. They just fought a little, and then the Arabians were like, okay, stop, let's be friends, let's cooperate, let's make an alliance. And I was like, oh damn, this game is so deep and so detailed and very, very, very enjoyable. I liked this game a lot, and I think my final score for it for the time I had with it, for the time that I played with it. Maybe I'll come back with another review. I think for the moment my score would be an 8.5 out of 10. Thank you for listening.